Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of the Anything Wrestling podcast. We are back here today with another very special episode. This episode is as special as John Cena's sixth move of doom.
You realize you keep downplaying the specialness of these episodes, right? And then we live up to the hype.
See, I'm giving you guys a challenge. I'm telling you guys that it won't be that special, so that way
to rise above hate.
There you go. Anyway,
today's episode brought to you by Murica. You can watch all of this hotly contested action at Extreme Rules
only on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable but very reasonable price of only $9.99.
Honestly, I thought Wells Fargo was an easy tee up for that one. Go ahead.
So, we're here to preview Extreme Rules.
Yes.
Shall we get on with it? Match breakdown guide, take it away.
All right, so I'd say let's start from the bottom down here. So, I believe the most recently announced match, the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder versus the Usos, Jay and Jimmy, for the Raw Tag Team Championship. How do we feel, gentlemen?
Like we said, probably going on the kickoff show. Revival is like they almost got no stock left.
They tried to revive them a little bit by pairing them there with Shane and Drew, and then that stopped.
Usos have just, again, like, they're essentially like one of your backbones for the tag team division. So, wherever they are, they can give you a great match, but I can't really say that they need a push or if they're getting buried because the Usos are just there, you know?
And nothing stellar out of either of these teams lately. The Usos have had a bunch of tag team championship runs, and
it's stale. Oh, hi, I'm on the show. This is a stale match. It's just put it on the kickoff show. It's a repeat of a beaten down, boring, useless, regurgitating, pointless rivalry that you took a good tag team, turned them to a gimmick. You have possibly one of the greatest tag teams in current professional wrestling history being given a tag team championship that most people on Raw, and I'm talking about the universe, are very ungrateful towards them because honestly, they get no pop, they get no like ring presence from the fans, so it's like, oh, yeah, we got one team that everybody loves, but they're so great when they're actually serious and quote-unquote heels. Mm-hmm. But we're going to turn them into a fucking joke. And then you got a team that is great at what they do, that gives you the best in wrestling capability, but no one gives a damn about them because there's nothing that has flash or pizzazz about them. And we're just going to mix the product up even further and just make it into some boring shit.
It looks like it's getting pretty thick in that pot.
Pretty thick till you just want to get rid of it.
It's overcooked.
I give it to the Revival to keep their belts because I think that's the only reason why they're still on WWE.
Probably.
I should write these down.
I'll go with Revival too. It might be a dirty finish, but I think they walk out with the belt still.
Agreed.
So unison for the Revival.
We are on the same page.
The Revival. Next, we've got a last man standing match between Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley. I mean, how many last man standing matches have we watched with Braun Strowman at this point? Isn't this sort of his staple match at this point?
It's because he's the last man standing constantly.
I personally feel like this is the one feud where actually I've enjoyed the build-up since Super Showdown. There have been some points in the storyline where it's been gimmicky. You had the arm wrestling contest. You had the tug of war, and the spot of them both diving through the Titantron was actually really good. I've actually been enjoying this feud. It hasn't really been so gimmicky to the point where both of them are being booked to look like idiots. But looking forward to the match Sunday.
I've cooled off on both guys. I don't care about the feud. I don't care about the match. I don't know what to tell you about these two. I saw something this. Go ahead.
No, go on.
I was gonna say I saw something this morning that said something about WWE trying to bring Braun Strowman back to his roots. So they might be putting him through a slight repackage soon, maybe. Instead of. I feel, if you want my honest opinion, I think Braun has gone downhill since the Mixed Match Challenge. Like, I think that is where you can put the pin in it, because they started to do sort of the comedic stuff between him and Bliss, and while that was fun, then I think it affected his character when he wasn't with Alexa, and it made his character feel less
Intimidating?
Yeah, less intimidating, less unstoppable. So I think it's a good idea to repackage him a little bit, but I think kind of like what we talked about back with Roman, I feel like maybe he should come off of TV for a minute. Just take him off for 3 weeks, and we'll just kind of forget Braun Strowman's around, and then you have him come back and just tear everything up. But as for this match, I feel like Braun has to win to just end it. Because I think that's the only way that this feud ends, is if Braun wins the final match. Because if Bobby wins, then... Unless you have Bobby... that could be how you write Braun off. You have Bobby do something, or there's another returning superstar interference.
Bobby, yeah.
And Braun gets beaten, and everyone's like, oh, shit, Bobby Lashley. And then Braun comes back and repackaged.
Like it.
I didn't even hear your pick.
I honestly want to go with Lashley on this one. That's a really good way of doing it. Riding off Braun, so that way you kind of protect him. And then if Lashley gets the win, that's a good revitalization. Because looking at Lashley over the last couple of weeks, I'm like, holy crap, first of all, he's really athletic, which you forget because you pay attention to the gimmick. And maybe a little less microphone time, but a really good athlete. But yeah, if you do that where you have Lashley win right off Braun, it's a win-win.
Bobby.
So we all put our hats in on Bobby for this one?
You said Braun.
Well, I expect Braun to win. I kind of want to go
You guys
out
need
on
to
a
be
limb.
clear so I write this correctly. So
I'm going to go off on a limb, and I'm going to say Bobby too.
Just so you guys know, we always have WWE content playing in the background, so if we get distracted, well, you guys should know by now.
Yeah, get with the program.
God.
Next up, who was your selection?
I said it. Bobby.
That's what I thought. All right, so next up, we got Ricochet versus Edge Styles.
Edge is back. I thought he retired.
Edge.
Oh.
It's a long vowel. Singles match for the United States Championship, currently held by Ricochet. I expect Ricochet to go over and the club to beat the shit out of him.
Very well. Don't really know what to think, because it seems like the only time when Gallows and Anderson are relevant is when AJ pairs with them, like AJ did 3 years ago. Ricochet is great. His promos are very cringe. Again, not his fault.
Or is it?
I don't know. I mean, I saw the guy in NXT, and he seemed like it was just natural, and it was there. Now it just seems like he's all, trying to sound like a good old baby face and trying to follow, the cue cards that are right in front of the camera.
That's probably not that far off from truth.
Yeah. R-Truth?
No, he's not on the show. He probably will be, but he's not right now.
Maybe. Heck, I'm gonna go with it. I say AJ Styles wins the U.S. Championship. Because who cares about long-lasting title runs, right?
Well, the thing is, I could see Ricochet stealing this one too, and then and then AJ goes over at the next show.
Which is maybe a SummerSlam.
Maybe. And so then that's where you start to build the credibility of the club
Yeah.
as a unit. You could even have some misfires maybe by Gallows and Anderson on this one that just AJ gets this close, but one of their interferences causes him to lose.
Yeah.
And they're like, God damn it, da, 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 da. And then finally on the next one, you see everything clicks into place,
Right,
and
yeah.
then they steal the win.
Yeah. But I'm still going with AJ just because it just seems like WWE's nature now to like, oh, we gave you a title, let's take it away.
Vince giveth, and Vince taketh away.
Like Vasha sings.
Kamish, your decision?
I think I'm just gonna leave it up to AJ doing that. It's not. I don't want to call it a gimmick. I think what it is that he's committing to the heel turn. He'll win the belt, but if you want to build the credibility of how serious they actually want to be this time around, you have what's it called? The club still beat the crap out of Ricochet and like just go full blown heel at this point.
Yeah.
My pick's AJ. Because, yeah, Vince gives you an opportunity, then he takes it away from you immediately if you're boring him. My God, man, take a nap.
Who knows? Maybe you have AJ wins the title, and then Vince comes out and he's like, now that's the real AJ Styles.
After 8 months?
8 months. He's like, it took you a while to get here.
Kind of
but
like Drew
but we got
McIntyre.
there.
When he becomes champion, he's like, I told you it was the
I called it from day one.
When was day one?
Ish.
Good plug for the shirt.
So next up, we've got the man who knocks, Cesaro.
Yes.
Versus Aleister Black. Now, I like Aleister. I've liked him down in NXT. I don't have a problem with Cesaro. We've established that he's one of your favorites. He's very athletic. He's very strong. Thank you. Yes. I got tired of these Aleister Black promos.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I feel like they were doing them on both shows for weeks. And so...
I thought it was just SmackDown.
Was it just SmackDown?
Yeah,
And you just see the repeat on Raw as well.
Maybe that's the problem.
Maybe that's the problem.
But it just felt like it happened for a very, very long time. And I was like, get to the damn point. And we finally did. And we talked briefly about this before we got on air. I don't know who goes over in this match because I'm afraid that that WWE can't handle making both of these guys look good coming out of this match. But I feel like you can't spend a month of these bullshit promos from Mankind's Boiler Room and then have Aleister lose. Unless the whole point is to build the mystique of Aleister Black and then bury him to actually start a Cesaro push. It feels like you can only push one of these two guys given the circumstances. I anticipate Aleister's going to win.
Yeah.
But we'll see. Thoughts?
Aleister's probably winning just because, back to your point, I don't think they would bring this guy over from NXT and then go, let's build you up just to... No, that sounds pretty accurate. They
That
would
sounds
do that. However, Cesaro's my boy, so... Aleister's winning. I'm gonna go with Aleister. They're not gonna bury him on such short notice.
You wish?
This needs to be, in my personal opinion, because I can give a damn less about most of the other matches right now, your match of the night.
Yeah.
Because, one, you have someone from NXT who came over and immediately is like, all right, this is like supposed to be like your modern day, like, hardcore, aggressive, dominant, like, quote unquote evil reckoning
Yeah.
in the WWE now with Aleister.
He's your new Mordecai.
Yeah. Wow. I haven't heard that one in a while. And you're doing this match at what is supposed to be considered the hardcore event of the year. Ever since it originated as One Night Stand from ECW to One Night Stand WWE to Extreme Rules. You also need this match to be your launching point of whatever your new regime is supposed to be for all the shows, in regards to Raw and SmackDown with Bischoff and Paul Heyman taking over.
Yeah.
Especially since, and I don't think you guys have paid attention to this, that Fight for the Fallen is the day before.
So
They already built the momentum with John Moxley and Joey Janela's match with that non-sanctioned death match.
Beautiful match.
And if WWE is going to stand toe-to-toe now, because honestly I'm starting to pay attention to the other show as well, this needs to, like I said, it needs to be your like match of the night. It needs to be the one that's like, holy crap, WWE still has it.
Yeah.
And it kills me to constantly remind myself that Vince McMahon always said this about Cesaro, that he's not the man that can bring attention, that he's not the man that can draw an audience and all that crap. Because honestly, according to Sean, he can. The guy deserves a push, never got it.
Yeah.
And then you have A-lister who has been the standout for the WWE, or for NXT at least. So I think personally this is the direction where it needs to go, that needs to be the match of the night.
Who do you see winning?
A-lister.
We're all on the same page?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like Alice got to win.
Do you think this will be like a program? Maybe leading into SummerSlam?
Well, okay, so let's discuss that. Where do you go after this? Because this isn't bearing Cesaro. This isn't bearing A-lister. If anything, it's in a way pushing them both.
That's if they push both.
And why can't you? At this point, why can't you push more than one person? Because honestly, after the shoot from last night on SmackDown, it's getting to a point where you need to bring back the talent that's been reserved or chilling and catering or not doing anything on TV. To you have a guy who we didn't even see for a while after his constant tag team matches with Ricochet.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he's doing these 1996 Boiler Room promos. And immediately, you finally have someone on TV with him respond to the, I'm sorry to say, like this bullshit 96 promos. Because let's be real, they're good, but they're also like, I've seen this before. I've seen this almost 20 years ago.
I've seen this recently with the original version of Bray Wyatt. Like, no offense to Bray, I always thought he was really eloquent and delivered his promos really well. Alistair, kind of the same thing, but at a certain point, like with Bray, he used to be really cryptic with what he would say, and it kind of got to the point where you were kind of like, okay, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, but at the same time, like as like weirded out you were by what he said, it drew you in.
Yeah. No, he was a very compelling character. So,
and that's my thing with A-lister. It's like he's drawing you into this like edgy aggressiveness where you're just like, okay, you're all this talk, but I want to see you actually fight. Like you want to fight.
yeah.
For the Fallen?
I think the week after week references to who's gonna knock on my door, who's gonna be the man that knocks on my door.
The door is always open.
No,
remember.
Remember.
The ring post and
Super
the door.
Showdown and never mind.
Um,
I call me crazy. I think that the second his promos got interesting is when he actually started talking about the door.
Yeah.
Like, someone knock on my door. Someone knock. And then that's when they kind of built it up. And I'm going to be honest, out of all people, I wasn't expecting Cesaro.
Well, the rumor was Cesaro or Randy.
yeah,
Or,
I had heard Randy.
even Bray.
Yeah.
But
Ooh.
we got Cesaro out of it, which was the first speculation. Could you put Bray into this somehow? Because supposedly we stopped seeing the puppets again.
They already gave up.
The anniversary of his 6-year first appearance as Bray Wyatt already passed this past Monday.
Oh, that's a missed opportunity.
Yeah. Why not take advantage?
I don't think you can, because we just talked about pushing Cesaro and Aleister at the same time, and it seems humanly impossible.
I think if you tried to incorporate the only, and I wouldn't necessarily want to see this. The only way you could potentially make all three guys seem strong in this is if you have a highly competitive match between Aleister and Cesaro, and they're just kicking each other's asses, and you try to bring out the Fiend. And the Fiend, like, kicks the shit out of him a little bit, but then they both team up and they just, fend him off. Like, they don't beat him up, but they escape.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way that you could make all three guys in this segment
But they don't
come
save
out
each
looking
other.
good.
Yeah, but they don't save each other just for the sake of, oh, we're now a tag team. They just
Save
each other to
for
survive.
survival, yeah. And because then you could build this into like a 3-man promo and have the three of them fight at SummerSlam, and that would actually be an interesting match to see, is Bray versus Cesaro versus Aleister.
But here's the thing: do you bring in Bray like after this as the Fiend, or do you have him do the whole split personality thing where he unmorphs out of that?
Were you
he's-
Demon King him?
No, well, not to the fullest, but like, yeah, you have him come out like, oh, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what you guys are talking about. That wasn't me, you know. That
Yeah, you have him be the embodiment of the heel, and you have the Fiend to be the embodiment of the hurt.
yeah.
What if he comes in right in the middle of the match and goes, "Hey guys,
Don't, no. I'm cutting you off right there. You sing that song, you're ruining the momentum of this. You sing the song, and I'm cutting the momentum of this off too.
No, I think you would have to have.
Just do it.
it's fine." I don't have good pipes anyway, so.
I think that you would have to. That the best execution would be Bray Wyatt in ring, is yowie wowie and then you can even at times have Bray in ring and have the Fiend appear on the screen, and you could even have yowie wowie Bray vanish as the Fiend promo is playing, and then you're like, what the fuck? What is going on? I think that would be the best execution for it.
You usually do pre-tape promos before the event. So.
Yeah. I don't. Now,
Are you taking a survey here?
Hey yo.
does Bray wrestle with the Fiend mask on, or does he remove that and he's like in creepy Bray Wyatt mode?
We haven't seen what he looks without the mask.
I know. I'm just speculating.
I think you have to have him with the mask on as the Fiend. Because the whole gimmick for the whole, 2 months, was it? Was that, Bray's just an embodiment of who he really is. The Fiend is who he is. So the Fiend has to, wear that Slipknot-like mask.
We'll see soon enough, I suppose.
Yeah, I agree. It's almost like sending Demon Finn Balor out without the face paint.
Yeah.
So we're all going for Cesaro? Or, I'm sorry, we're all going for Black?
Lister?
Yes.
All right, so propelling into the future of the new Daniel Bryan and Rowan versus
Planet Savers?
Recycle.
versus the New Day
So that's what I thought you were going to do when you said the new, and then you said Daniel Bryan. I'm like, oh, he's introducing the other guy.
versus the new Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker, for the triple threat match for the SmackDown Tag Team Championship. So, from my understanding, we saw Otis go over in a triple threat match, which is on the television.
where you can catch it on the WWE Network for a non-negotiable, very reasonable price of only $9.99.
Xavier showing some nice strength when he military pressed Daniel Bryan above his head.
I don't know. I noticed double. What was it? Suplex?
Yeah, I was just looking at that. That was impressive.
When he suplexed both Daniel Bryan and Xavier at the same time. That was
Stalling for a few
kinda-
seconds.
That was kind of awesome.
shit.
That's a good transition.
Right into the little bell.
Honestly, I'm not really. I haven't put too much stock into Heavy Machinery. I give them maybe another month or so until they get AOP'd. What was the other team?
AOP won the titles. It's Bryan and Rowan and New Day.
For a second.
And
Yeah, it seems like now with Kofi being, I think they're trying out Kofi being on his own, or being on his own, quote unquote.
Yeah.
With Big E and Xavier kind of, being in the tag team division, taking care of their own business. Daniel Bryan doing like really good. Like I like his gimmick. He knows what he's doing. He knows his character. He's giving great promos week in and week out. I'm gonna air this out. Dan, you brought up a very good idea. I think it was maybe last week or the week before, where you said maybe one thing that we can do to help build a certain women's wrestler and Heavy Machinery is maybe pair up Mandy Rose with Otis and Tucker, and you completely rebrand them as from fun and loving and carefree to this serious tag team where they just come and they're gonna bulldoze the shit out of everything that stands in their way.
just like some, I don't know, Heavy Machinery.
Yeah, exactly. Hence the name. Because right now I see Heavy Machinery as like your generic tag team. They're just there.
Yeah.
They didn't really get a whole lot of time in NXT, much like all the other tag teams that came down from NXT. So I'm going with Bryan and Rowan on this one. I think that you need to build for a really good tag team to have a match with these two for Bryan and Rowan to lose the championships.
I'll also say Bryan and Rowan for this, with the impression that SummerSlam or the next show we'll see Heavy Machinery take the belts off of them.
I see Daniel and Rowan winning this.
We're all on the same page.
We are in agreement on this one. So then we go to the first title defense by the new Drew Gulak. Wait, wrong match. By Drew Gulak versus Tony Nese.
Just want to make sure none of these matches so far have been under Extreme Rules, right?
No.
Last man standing match. That's it. It's 3 of the next 4. Yeah, nothing's been an Extreme Rules match, which I think is missing the point of the pay-per-view.
Hence the name.
Like, you might as well just call it Gimmick Night if you're gonna just do some generic gimmicks. So
Call it in your house.
you could. That would be more appropriate.
Next Saudi show. Gimmick.
So Drew and Tony Nese. Drew just picking up the belt at... What was it?
What was it?
Ground of Stomping.
Yeah.
Yes, that one.
Can't even remember the name of it.
That's how far we've fallen.
Do you want to promote it again?
I wasn't trying to, but when I said fallen, it kind of came to me. You can catch fight.
Fighter Fest?
Never mind.
Drew Gulak, I not much for me to say about this match. I think Drew's going to retain.
Yeah, Drew Gulak. Honestly, we've seen this before. 205 Live matches always deliver. 9 times out of 10 deliver. I'm expecting a good, brutal, stiff match where there's just chops and punches and kicks and, everything under the sun. But I probably see Drew Gulak retaining just because I said it for the Stomping Ground review. Triple H does a very good job of building the talent, giving them a decent time with the title, and then moving them forward to the main roster where they get buried and then just eventually want to leave. Happily ever after, the end.
Kickoff show Gulak.
Wow. Gulak gonna lock that win up. So moving on, we've seen this as a slow building feud. Bailey versus Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross in a handicap match
Lexi.
for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Nikki Cross out looking to become co-SmackDown Women's Champion with Alexa Bliss. Alexa Bliss probably not looking to be co-champions with Nikki Cross as Bailey drafted out on SmackDown.
Well, that's not McCool.
Cool.
Get it.
So, does Bailey go over and
Yes.
retain, or
Yes.
do we see something with Bliss and Cross,
Nah.
or no?
You're not going to tell me we built this whole thing with Nikki and Alexa just to have Alexa win and then go, yeah, we're good, we're friends, let's continue.
We built this city. We built this city on Bliss and Cross. Kamish, how do you feel about the match?
Why are we having it?
What would you?
Dan,
Why are we having this match? I don't
Why
know.
not?
What would you rather have?
I'd rather not have this match, honestly. I'd rather just see anything but this. I'm
Bailey
sorry.
and Sasha?
anyone but you, Roman.
Bailey and Roman? Tessa
I'm
Blanchard
sorry
and Sami
again. I'm
Callihan?
feeling very lackluster about all this, just because it's like wherever the story goes, it'll get botched next month, and that's what kills me about this. Like honestly, like
Now I had heard Sasha might be slated for a SummerSlam return
oh my god,
so-
Basha Sanks is
because
back.
she was apparently showing up in some local ads.
So that crossed my mind. Maybe you have a Sasha comeback, and then we get the Sasha and Bailey versus the Lexi and the Nikki, and then because Lexi and Nikki don't win, then you have them turn, and then maybe we get our Sasha and Bailey feud.
And
But let's be real.
Sasha's motivation is probably, you're the reason we lost the tag team titles. Now I'm going to take
Wow.
this from you. I don't know.
Oh, Dan, tell us how you really feel.
That's not how I really feel. I'm building a story, Sean. Keep up. Anyway, I suspect Bailey will walk out, and I wouldn't be surprised if we see an appearance by Sasha, because it'll get a pop.
What I would love is Bailey wins the match, and then because Alexa is so pissed with Nikki, just brutalizes her, gets out a kendo stick, and just wreaks
I
havoc.
think it's funny that the only weapon the girls can really use is kind of six.
Well, bless them, they try to use tables, but half the time when they jump, that table don't break. But yeah,
they're too-
just have
they're too light.
Lexi brutalize her, and then you can build that, awaken that beast in Nikki.
So moving forward, Kofi Kingston defending the WWE Championship versus the Samoan Submission Machine.
Joe.
Samoa Joe. Or Joey Samoa, as the commission likes to call him.
Joey Blowy Samoa Wowie.
Kofi. So,
Coffee?
however you guys would like to progress while I search this real quick. So, Kofi currently holding the title. He's had trials and tribulations. Most of them have been competitive matches. Now he's faced with a brutal, aggressive task in the form of Samoa Joe.
I will say this. If there's one person that can take the title off of Kofi and make it look sadistic and believable, it's Samoa Joe. Doing it right now, probably not the best idea in the world. I would say maybe give it until SummerSlam. And then you have just Joe put Kofi to sleep. And then have this guy go on as like a dominant champion.
So you're advocating for Joe to be the one to take the belt off Kofi?
Yes, but not yet. So I'm gonna go with Kofi at Extreme Rules, and it's more of one of those victories where it's like he survives, he doesn't really win, he just like gets like a roll up 1, 2, 3, and just gets out of the ring, just barely survives. Until next time.
Kofi suffered a minor injury at a house show in a match against Dolph, but it doesn't seem to be anything serious.
I see.
But he is working through an injury of some sort. Now, we've seen in history within this company that sometimes even a minor injury can derail things.
Finn Balor.
So we'll see. Did you say Finn Balor?
I'm sorry, I was just cleansing, you know.
Well, his was a minor injury, but Dolph got a concussion and then got screwed out of being world heavyweight champion for the rest of the goddamn
Should
year.
have been him.
Kofi Kingston, I think, retains again.
Do you see it as a definitive win, or just he just barely scrapes by,
I'm split because I
like Bray?
you know what? I don't want Kofi to win by winning. I want there to be some sort of shenanigan that causes the match. Maybe a count out. Something that
Wait a
doesn't.
second, it's Extreme Rules.
This match is just a regular singles match, though. The reason is because Joe is lost in that way so frequently that it almost just it drives another nail into the coffin.
Yes.
Because we just saw that happen with Ray, and then Ray had to drop the U.S. title immediately.
And then give it back.
Yeah. And I don't want to see Joe just keep losing because it's gonna then. I feel like he almost doesn't have a ton of credibility anyway right now because they keep making him lose. I believe Joe could beat up Kofi Kingston because he's a big fucking guy.
Would you argue that maybe since WrestleMania he's kind of built up that momentum? Like he beat Ray in like 60 seconds at Mania, then he went on to.
Well, it's the traditional keeping it 50-50 mentality of the WWE. Because he catches Ray and submits him in 60 seconds, but then you have that kind of weak ass roll up that Ray gets over Joe,
where his shoulder was clearly off the mat.
Yeah, and so you've got this like weird misbalance. Like, okay, so he's a strong, brutal guy and he choked him out. Oh, but he also just got rolled up awkwardly. It makes it. I feel like it keeps him kind of neutral, and I just.
What did he do after the roll up?
After the roll up,
To Ray, what did he do to him after?
he beat the shit out of him. But Ray is this tall.
Don't matter. This is
I'm just saying.
No, I know, but this is what I'm trying to. This is the point I'm trying to point out. I think Kofi should win with the Trouble in Paradise, but it shouldn't be like a strong hit of it.
Yeah.
It should knock him and daze him for the 3 count. Kofi, let Kofi still stay in the ring for a while and celebrate his victory. But if you want to build Samoa Joe to really be the reckless submission machine that we all know he really is, because this is supposedly Extreme Rules, let's have him go one step further. As soon as he undazes himself, just beat the crap out of Kofi. Literally to the point, putting him through a table, beating him to oblivion.
Maybe even writing Kofi off for a week or two so that he can actually nurse the injury more.
Yeah. So you prove that he is worthy of a rematch. Takes the belt off him. I think if you're going to build Samoa Joe as your next WWE champion, this is the best momentum and time to do it because I want to see Samoa Joe with that belt run. Not with a United States title. Not with, what was the other belt he's won?
NXT.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Give him the WWE championship already. But if you want to have, again, momentum into the future for your shows, this is the only pay-per-view where you can deem appropriate his actions of really destroying somebody and putting him through hell. Kofi can heal. Kofi can come back in a couple of weeks while Joe's cutting a promo that I deserve the belt, blah, blah, blah. Kofi hits him. They get into a fight. You want this belt? I'll challenge you at SummerSlam. But you also build Kofi up in the regards of, I'm not a paper champion. I'm not a babyface champion like everyone's ruling me out to be. I'm actually going to prove to you that I won this belt on my accord and that I deserve it. Obviously, loses at SummerSlam, but you build them both up. And you give Kofi an edge to later, I lost. And then you start having him wither away from the New Day, hey, you know what? All that gimmick shit didn't really get me anywhere.
Yeah.
I needed to really hang on to that belt, and I think because I hung on to you guys for too long, it's time for me to go after another serious title run.
Yeah, you have them split amicably, maybe.
That's how I would build it up. But again, some people don't want to listen to people who know what they want. Some people tend to cut promos for us, knowing what we want, but then their microphones get cut off midway, halfway, and Byron Saxton's headset gets cut off too.
Kids these days. I think a cool exchange to end the match would be to catch Samoa Joe with the Trouble in Paradise. Joe kind of like wobbles back, comes back, like kind of deflects off the rope and wanders into an SOS, which is how Kofi gets the actual pin. Because then you've got Joe takes the kick and he's still standing and you're like, oh shit, and it takes this like pretty cool leverage pin to actually get him down in the first place. And then you could even at SummerSlam try to mirror that spot and have Joe avoid it this time and choke him out. All right, so now we're down to the big two, guys. Do we want to do the Raw match or the sort of SmackDown match?
You mean the wild card matches?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Stupid rule.
Just do wild card first.
All right, so we've got the best in the world, Shane McMahon.
Wow.
And Drew McIntyre versus Roman Reigns and The Undertaker.
Yes.
In a no-holds-barred tag team match.
Hey, so an actual Extreme Rules match?
Kind of. This is the most extreme match on the card.
The first extreme match on the card.
Technically the second because of the false count, or the last man standing match.
Yeah. And so you got the OG Big Dog and the new era Big Dog versus the Chosen One and the Best in the World. Can you have The Undertaker and Roman lose this match?
No.
What do you think? Do you think you can have them lose?
Yeah.
No.
That's not my pick.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I was going to say, do they lose?
You can have them lose to build the momentum of the Drew Undertaker rivalry.
But then you're also building Shane. He did get a win over Roman.
Okay, Shane got the win over Roman. Drew would be the one doing the pin. You build Drew up because, Shane is winning by, I tagged with you and he did most of the work. But this time, you got the pin.
Yeah.
Like, you give the momentum to Drew at this point.
I think you could have the end of the match. I feel like the end of the match, if you go with Shane and Drew winning, would have to be Drew and Undertaker would have to be fighting in the ring. They'd have to be beating the shit out of each other. Then you'd have to have it unfold into some chaos for a minute, and then I think you have to have Drew beat the Undertaker with the Claymore. And so I feel like realistically Undertaker and Roman are going to walk away. I don't know how to book this one. Like, I don't know how to, structure the match. Because I don't know what their ultimate goal is with Shane or Roman. And I think that's the problem. That's the thing that's throwing me off. Because if we were just worried about The Undertaker and Drew, you could do exactly what I just said. Because then you're like, oh shit. The Scottish psychopath just pinned The Undertaker at Extreme Rules. But then, like you said, that raises Shane. Do they want Shane to be the champion? Do you want The Undertaker to come off this match, this clusterfuck with Goldberg, and show up to Extreme Rules of all pay-per-views and lose?
Now, okay, what if you pull off one of those deals where, so you know how when usually there's a tag team match, one guy from each team starts fighting in the crowd and they go in the back and they kind of get away from the match, and then the last two remaining, there's a decision. I'm thinking maybe Roman pin Shane, kill that, put that to an end, and then you build to Drew and Taker. I don't know if you're doing it at a SummerSlam or if you're gonna wait until Mania. If you can wait until Mania, but they brought the Undertaker back to build up the Drew feud earlier, so.
Yeah.
I think that would be one way, is to kind of like have Taker there for the attraction, but then get him away from the match. That way we come down to, okay, we're back to Shane and Roman.
I think the problem for me is the fact that we've seen 3 of the outcomes from this match. We've seen Roman beat both of them, so I guess, what is that?
Has he?
4 outcomes? I think so, but we've seen, the fact of the matter is we've seen the match between Roman and Shane, between Roman and Drew. Probably. I would probably also say, we're in agreement that Taker and Roman are probably actually going to go over in this match.
Yeah, agreed.
But we've seen Roman and Shane, and we've seen Roman and Drew, and we've seen them end in a variety of ways. And if you don't have Undertaker involved in the finish, I think people are just going to kind of look at this match and be like, why'd we bother? Like, Taker either needs to make the pin, and it could be on Shane. You could highlight the whole "you're afraid of the Undertaker" thing that Kevin brought up, and have Undertaker beat Shane. But you've got to do something to establish the Undertaker versus Drew. So maybe the Undertaker, I don't know, Undertaker hits the last ride. No, I'm just kidding. Undertaker beats Shane, and then as he goes to do the, or whatever the hell he does at the end of the match, he gets caught by the Claymore kick. And then you've got that where Drew's like, fuck you, Undertaker. Fuck you. And then Drew
Why don't you have it like this, where Drew and Roman are the ones who leave ringside and go crazy on each other to beat each other up in the back. Leave Taker all alone with Shane for the win.
Yeah.
And then you have Drew come back after the win, right as he's getting on the one knee, Claymore kick the hell out of the Undertaker and stand over him with the lights out.
With the blue light.
And like, I'm not afraid of you. I missed my opportunity to beat you, but I'm standing over you stronger than you.
Yeah.
Because honestly, like, if
And
that builds the
that
momentum of those two, kills Shane's momentum of being on TV. And then I don't know if it's too early to go into SummerSlam, or maybe because who knows how much gas is left in the Undertaker's tank.
Yeah.
But to take it all the way to Mania, you have to do a lot of stuff for the next, 8-9 months?
Yeah, a while.
Yeah.
I think that would be a really cool image, though. Is you have the Undertaker, he's just won, and he's doing the typical celebration, and then Drew just drills him.
Yeah.
Like, it would build more heat on Drew, but it would build how strong he really is against all his opponents and everyone that has come across his way. And I think at that point, if you do start taking Shane off TV, you can even have Drew be like, you know what, I don't need you anymore. Because he didn't need Dolph last year. At one point, he said it himself. Everyone that Drew's had as a partner is like, I don't need you to beat people.
Yeah.
I've been doing this on my own, and now I really don't need the authority figure with me.
Yeah.
If I want to go after The Undertaker, I'll do it myself. That's how you build Drew and Taker. Now, as far as Roman goes, he said it himself. I'm not here to win a championship right now. I'm just here because God has given me the ability to wrestle again and to do what I love.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Clearly.
Did you guys hear about that? Apparently, he's got 2 more years.
And his contract, or
Yeah,
or
he's
just gonna tap out?
like he's planning to do this for about 2 more years and then just.
Why not? Like, maybe there is something in regards to his health where he's like, as much as I want to do this, like, I also need time for myself to enjoy life, because, yeah, this has been my life for, since 2010?
Yeah, roughly.
Or whenever he started in NXT on his own. Obviously, with him going to, like, almost having to fight for his life again, and then going into remission, it's like, I kind of want to do more stuff with my career or with my life. Not saying he's going to take the path of his cousin or the path of his cousin's invisible friend.
Who are you talking about? I don't know who you're talking about.
Exactly. But maybe Roman has seen like an interest in trying to build himself up as like, oh, I can do more than just wrestling. But again, if it's 2 more years, what more can Roman accomplish? He's already a Triple Crown winner. He's already a Grand Slam winner at this point. Like, he's won everything. He's main evented.
Yeah.
How many WrestleManias now?
Oh, God.
Seki versus Basie.
I think that's the best name you can give those two because
How
they're
about
pretty
Saki?
basic.
Basie.
How about Sucky?
Cat or
Stop being a perv.
Cat Kevin's.
No, like Sucky the drink.
You said sucky. It's Saki.
Oh, Saki.
Like Saki Atumi.
Like Sako Rollins Yan? Eh?
Sacco Rollins Lynch.
Okay.
So anyway, so you got Sacco
Wait,
Rollins.
Sako Rollins Lynchian.
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 Does that fit? Does that work?
You can't say it doesn't because you can include that YAN or IAN anywhere.
Yeah, that's true.
Anyway, so Sacco and Becco versus Baran and Lassie. In a last chance winners take all mixed tag team Extreme Rules match.
That's
oh
a
my
mouthful.
god. There's an Extreme Rules match?
Apparently, for both of the WWE Universal Championship and Raw Women's Championship. So I guess Baron got him for the Women's Championship now.
Well, he is basic biatch status.
Wow.
He couldn't beat Seth, so he had to go after Becky.
He almost did. I would have socked him if that happened.
I'd have killed Baron Corbin.
Was Lacey trying to kick Becky in the gut?
Yeah,
Or in
because
the...
that looked really. Ugh.
I don't know.
She's a mess.
Can we say the chant that was said to her at Stomping Ground?
What was that?
You
can't wrestle.
Yeah. Yeah, she got a couple of them. She got a couple of gnarly ass chants.
This is boring.
Did Lacey get any sort of actual exposure in NXT, or was she just on the
Barely.
Mae Young Challenge for the most part?
I think she was there for a cup of coffee, essentially. Because remember, they brought her up along with Heavy Machinery and Nikki and EC3.
But the thing is, she got more exposure in the Mae Young Classic than
Yeah.
she did at NXT.
That is true.
I would have preferred that she get to hone her craft down in NXT where there's less prying eyes
You know why she
before,
didn't get that?
because she's pretty.
She's blonde.
Well, that's why Becky said, just another blonde.
Yep. Listen here, sugar. I mean, if Seth and Becky don't leave with
By the way, I swear to God, they're listening to our podcast. We came
because
up with
of
this idea before Raw, and then it happens.
Well, I guess
First-
we'll see how Extreme Rules plays out then.
First of all, why would this moron here label them as Seki? Like, even that kills me. The fact that,
Vega?
yeah, she's the one that came up with the name Seki. It's like, okay, first of all, you're not even credible. Second of all, why are you still talking?
Dan.
Why? Oh, why?
And third, where are you from?
I'll do you one better.
Do
Why is Zelina?
Wasn't he supposed to? He said where.
Look, I couldn't cue up the joke. I just had to make it. So
You couldn't throw me the why one?
I mean, I suppose so. Do we want to try it? Do we want to try
No,
that
just
again?
keep
It's
going
too late.
forward. Yes.
Damn it! Missed opportunities.
I'm gonna
Guardians
call-
of
I'm
the
gonna-
Galaxy.
I'm gonna call it Stuber. Which,
Uh,
by the way, you can catch Dave Bautista in the new movie Stuber. It comes out this Friday.
Or in the, what is it, Escape Plan? They're doing another one with Sylvester Stallone.
the Expendables.
No. Escape Plan. The one where he tries to get out of prison.
I don't
Like
know.
they put him in a prison on purpose to see if it's penetrable to break out of.
Yeah, and somehow they always find a way.
They're really bad at making prisons, apparently.
Clearly.
Well, you can always go to the USO penitentiary.
Anyway.
Get it?
You know, penitentiaries aren't really, like, supposed to be, like, prisons,
It
per
was
se.
a joke.
Anyway.
Well, if you ask Dean Ambrose,
This pay-per-view is a joke.
Well, you know what? Let's not be too extreme. We gotta keep within the rules. We gotta wrap up this discussion of this match.
So what you're saying is that it's extreme rules?
No, I'm saying the rules are extreme. So it's a last chance match. If Baron and Lacey don't win the titles, then I guess they don't get to try again. I hope that they lose because we need to move on to something else. You could have Brock actually show up in the middle of the match, inject himself, pin Seth during the match for the title, and then Baron and Lacey still pin them, and Lacey walks out with the women's championship. But that'd be a clusterfuck.
okay.
I think Beth and Seki walk out.
If we can be serious for a minute, just have Becky and Seth win so that we can get this clusterfuck over with. Lacey's not ready. I mean, I'm sorry, but she's not. Like, I know we advocated for her earlier this year, but that's because it was kind of masked. We didn't know that she would botch every two moves.
Wait, so we were under the impression that she was good, but Botchamania happened instantly as soon as she got in the ring with Becky?
Yeah, she was Roman Reigns. And Corbin...
What does Vince McMahon see in Baron Corbin?
Height.
The main character from the video game Bully. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do. That's the sad part.
Don't be a bully.
Be a star. Be Alistar.
Get it?
Anyway.
Because like A-lister and then Alistar.
Who you got?
Becky and Seth, please. If there's a god in this world.
Seki.
All right, so Beth and Seki it is.
Sucky it to me, baby.
Don't be weird.
It's an Austin Powers reference. Did you not get it?
I thought it was a That 70s Show reference.
Wow, and I'm the one who needs to catch up. Okay, all right.
What? They said that in That 70s Show, too.
Any final? Oh, jeez.
Wow, that pretty much sums it up.
Any final thoughts?
Did I hear an accent in there?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
You thought you were British for a second.
Yeah, I thought you were English for a second.
Am I right? Here, your review.
Yeah. We agreed on every match.
Also, we're on the same page.
Except for Ricochet and AJ.
I see a pretty lackluster pay-per-view. Kamish brought it up. I see Aleister Black and Cesaro being the match of the night.
No, I said it has to be. Has to be.
Something tells me that it will be.
Because if it's not, then you're giving another victory to the other team. Since, ironically, their pay-per-view is the night before.
Yeah.
We must now cheer for the fight of the fallen. Or will be fallen. If they don't get their shit together. Yeah, I'm expecting a match of the night, a great Undertaker appearance, maybe. Other than that,
Yeah, I'm in agreement.
Kamish.
I just want to see a good pay-per-view. Am I going to get that? Possibly not. You're naming it after something that used to be amazing, but now can't even have one extreme fight.
We do, though. Beth and Seki.
Oh, I'm done.
We'll see you all next time.